Good morning, everybody. Look what I've got for my bow making project. Yes, sir. I managed to find a draw knife. So I've been using it on this bow to help shape it, and perhaps you can see in the video that I've made a little bit of progress. Now, this thing was a little over $40. And so let's see if I can do this one-handed here. Now I have been using it. I wanted to take it out of the sheath for the video. See if I can do this without cutting myself, because this thing, let me tell you, this puppy is razor sharp. Now, no, I don't have particularly big hands or anything. So if this looks small, it's because it is kind of small. Now, if any of you grew up on a farm like I did, you're probably used to seeing these things a bit heftier, and you know, with a wider blade, a thicker blade, you know, just overall a bit better quality than what you see right here. But you know, we live in this day and age. But I'm not complaining at all. On the contrary, this thing is wonderful. I've been going slowly on the bow. Now, I don't have anybody here that can assist me with holding the camera, but I just wanted to show y'all. I've worked the end a little bit, tapered it, and of course it's not even, but we're starting to make some progress. And I apologize for the shakiness of the video, holding it with one hand and, you know, working everything with the other hand. So, now I've made a couple of decisions that are going to change the outcome of this bow. Number one, I've decided that the hardwood side, remember we talked about this in the last video, I was going to use the sapwood as the belly of the bow, but I've decided to go ahead and see if I can get this to be a recurve. So this is going to be the belly, which is much more appropriate for a bow of this style. Whoops, I better grab that thing before I drop it in the gravel and chop up the edge of that. Yeah. Now, another thing I want you guys to see here, I'm not sure if the light is good enough. It's kind of hard to see because there's a glare on the screen from my angle. But this blade has a very specific angle. Now on the reverse side, you might be able to see that it's got about a 30-degree edge to it. It's very hard to notice unless you look closely. Of course, let me take that back. On this side is the one with the 30-degree edge, and then it's barely touched on the other side, giving it a razor sharp edge. So I'm having to go slowly. I'll be very careful. Now, typically, what you want to do with a draw knife is pull it towards yourself, draw it towards yourself. Okay. Now, I don't have a bench to work on. I've just got this, and I've got a chair and table up there where I typically, you know, sit and work on this. So what I'll do is I'll put the end up against a brace of some sort, and I've been working on pushing. So I'm not drawing, I'm pushing, and for the most part it's working out beautifully. Now for the edges, of course, what I'll do is just grab it, and for example, on the edge of the bow, I just put it vertical, and I just use this in a chopping motion, and just very lightly and slowly take down the edges of the bow. Now, that's going to get a little bit trickier when I get to the middle of the bow, because I want a handle there. Now, talking about the handle, this is going to pose a little bit of a problem. You can see the profile of the bow is much thinner there than it is here. And if I have the majority of the surface of the bow in my hand, and it's facing this way, as you can see, that's not going to work. That turns my wrist at an impossible angle, and that string is just going to chew my forearm up. So what I need is a thinner profile so my wrist can turn straight. So this section of the bow is going to be narrowed quite a bit, probably about 6 to 8 inches in the center. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shim. gonna have to carve a separate shim and prep the surface here and prep the surface of the shim and just glue it here. So that way it'll give some meat to the handle of the bow, and so I'll be able to grip it properly instead of having a wide angle grip like this that tears up your knuckles and doesn't position right in your hand, and frankly is going to have a little bit of shock if you were to, you know, pull this back at full draw when it's done and release it. That would produce a lot of hand shock. But if the profile is narrower with a more ergonomic grasping position, then that is going to greatly reduce any bow shock. Now, at the moment, I can't really think of anything specific to say about the video or about the bow until I make a little more progress on it. So I appreciate you guys watching. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from this video, so I want to thank you guys for that encouragement. This is an amateur project, but I'm hoping the results will be a little bit better than amateur. This will have been, when I complete this, this will be about bow number 10 that I've ever made in my life. 90% of which, you know, are broken and long gone, and I haven't made a bow in about 5 years. The last bow that I made was just a limb that I just cleaned up and started shaping, and it was already in a natural kind of a recurve shape anyhow, and it wasn't very strong. It's just decorative for looks. Hopefully this is going to be a functional bow, but hey, if it's not, at least I can pretty it up and hang it on the wall and it'll look nice, and I'll make some arrows to match. So thank you everyone for your encouragement. I'm really having a lot of fun with this project. I'm really having a lot of fun with this little draw knife. So made by FlexCut, made right here in the USA. And so anyway, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you on the flip side.